My ramble knife is eating Nugget Smith, West Smith and Wesson.
Sound like every white person trying to rap that has no rhythm. Like whenever I try the same thing, like we always try, but it's like you just
fully. Yeah,
like we're thinking too much on it. It's on the
flow. Dude, I'm like that with most things in life.
Yeah, well, you do have a rap song already out there somewhere.
The tibia connects to the fibula. The muscles go here. Anyway, we're on a potty, We're live. Hello, welcome back. 2024 tomorrow. 2023 has been a fucking monumental year for Corrective Culture and everyone involved.
It's been a really, really building year.
Yeah.
Really cool. And we had a business meeting this morning, and what we have to say now is please like and subscribe. Press the stars, press whatever that option is.
Yeah, like basically at the start of the podcast, please like and subscribe and to our YouTube and all our stuff, because that's what's growing and that's what helps us make money, and then we can spread the more love to the world. Yeah, well, it's not even that. It's what helps awareness.
Get cooler guests on, because they're going to see, it has this many likes, So it's a free way of supporting it anyway.
Yeah, it's like now with our growth, like say like 40,000 people on TikTok and 35 nearly on Insta. I feel like you could start hitting up your Aubrey Marcuses and your people like
just
bigger guests, because they're not going to come on if you're like you got 2,000 followers. They're probably unfortunately they wouldn't be into that. But dude, what I was thinking is we need to get Duncan Trussell on. Yeah,
someone who said that the other day. I think Harry said that.
Harry, he's the fucking man, and I reckon he loves Rum Darcy, loves Ragu Marcus, Ragu. Fucking, I don't think it's Marcus, but anyway, Ragu. He loves Ragu, which was Rum Darcy's best friend. But he's just, you can tell I feel like he's got a really good heart, and he might want to come on this. Yeah, and he will be on this. Yeah,
they will be. Yeah. it's never ending, right?
Yeah.
So on that note, what's been new like this year? What's this year solidified of? This year, I guess we brought on members. We brought on help. That's what we did, and fuck, it helped. Helped so much.
Oh yeah.
Like
we couldn't have kept going the way we were going. No way.
Yeah. Like we couldn't. We were posting like every couple of days, if that.
Yeah, and we were trying. We're trying so hard to do so much, and like
DMs and shit. There's like 40 DMs every morning.
Yeah, and then we didn't even do our emails. Like, and that was our whole thing. Like running a business, you needed to answer emails.
So I had like 1,000 emails or some shit there.
It was like 2,500.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
okay,
and
it was.
Rani went through.
My sister went through them all and sorted it out.
So she's our GM now.
Yeah. And DMs, like we were doing it once a week, but we were pretty basic answers, because like, I can't do this. Like, how am I meant to talk to all these people? And so now it's all getting smoother and smoother, and it's grown so quick. If we think about follower count, it was 10K to 20K took a year, 20K to 30K took like a month.
Yeah, wow.
So that's pretty
nuts. And now it's nearly at 35.
Yeah, and that's been
which is
2 weeks.
So fucking crazy, man. Like you really feel the momentum in the business in the last last 2 months. And it's funny, it's like we've almost both let go more and trusted in the universe more. Yeah. And it's just starting to pick up, you know what I mean? And
I think for people listening that want to replicate in some sense in your own way of whatever business that is for you, like it is hard work, but we spoke about this the other day. It's hard work, but it's also just, what would you say it is? It's like just finding opportunity, or opportunity has come to us. And I think it's more just talking to people and meeting people and doing things has really opened it up, not just sitting there grinding and learning and doing stuff. It's hard to explain, but there's so much of it is luck with knowledge has created it. It's not just because you can see people wanting to do it and they'll just post content every day, 3 times a day, get all these things on. But it's like, I don't know. What is it?
I think it's really, I think it's a good point. I think it's a really powerful thing when you got two people like me and you that are very driven and very thought orientated in where we want to go in life, like with our study and everything like that. Like all our energy is going into this, at all times. True. Like I'm like you, or we just like I was in the sauna before. I'm like, I can't wait to just go and watch more of this infant development thing. Like you always, that's the energy. That's the energy that is making this work. You know what I mean? Because it's not like we have to do it. We just choose to do it because we love it. That's why it feels easy.
And it's fun. Like yesterday, Rowdy, my roommate, he knows nothing about the body, and I have this big book called if you're listening, Kinesiology of the Musculoskeletal System by Donal A. Newman. Great book.
The best.
Yeah, the best. And I go, all right, I'm going to go out for a bit. You read something in that book and you learn it. And then when I get home, you ask me and give me a quiz on it.
Sick.
And then I forgot all about it, to be honest. And I come home and he's like, all right. He's like, I got something for you.
Did he pick the shoulder?
He did.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah, and he goes, okay, the supraspinatus assists the blank with shoulder abduction in dynamic and blank stability at the blank joint. And I actually reverse engineer. I was like, all right, well, it's got to be the glenohumeral joint.
Yeah.
It's dynamic and static stability.
Yeah.
And then the supraspinatus is abductor of the arm. So what muscle is synergistically helps the supraspinatus abduct the arm? I'm going to hit you with that right now.
Deltoid?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's because we know that conceptually.
Yes.
Didn't memorize that shit.
Yeah.
And I think it's a
fucking
language,
cool.
man. I've realized it's a fucking language. The body is a language, and when you learn the language, you can sort of start to really process it all and look at muscle fibers and where they cross and know it pulls that way and abducts this and does this and it starts to, like, you look at the names of things like, say, supraspinatus, supra. So let's have a little anatomy teaching for the people listening right now, for real basic, right? Supra means up, superior than you. That's the language, right? Infra, inferior than you. So supraspinatus, the spine of the scapula, spinatus, so above the spine of the scapula. Supraspinatus.
Yeah.
Infraspinatus, below the spine of the scapula.
Yeah.
Dorsal, like dorsal fish, that's top. Plantar, I think of for some reason when I think of like planting your foot on the
like
ground,
planting,
warts for some reason, right? The bottom is bottom, plantar flexion, dorsiflexion, medial, lateral, proximal means towards the midline, distal means away from the midline. So you start to see when someone says, all right, I'm going to do a inferior glide at the proximal, would you say, yeah, I'm going to do a inferior glide to the inferior lateral, inferior medial angle of the scapula or something like that. Then you start to understand, you think about where that is, like, oh yeah, I'm going this way. And it's slow at the start in your head, but then it becomes really, really fast.
Yeah, it's like the small little muscles on the spine. I remember when I was learning that, like the rotatores, like pretty self-explanatory. It's going to help with rotation.
Yeah,
and they're only tiny little muscles, and then the intratransversarii that like bridge across in the transverse plane.
Yeah.
And then you got the there's another one in there as well.
The spinalis.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, and they cross the spinous processes.
Yes.
In a sagittal plane.
Yeah, so it all makes sense, but fuck, it is confusing and it takes time. It's like I'm still learning, and I struggle a little bit, like, because I know a lot, but sometimes I find it hard to get it out in words. Like that's where I struggle, but in my head I can make sense of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. What do you reckon that, like, I know, yeah. What do you reckon that is like when, and I'm the same with when we talk about other shit too. I'm like, I know it, but I can't say it so clearly.
I think it's on a deep level. It's like what you're here for. Like maybe, like I am getting better at it, so maybe that could be wrong, but I think like when I speak about stuff, I feel like I already know.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like my soul's already knows that. Like I feel really passionate about meditation at the moment because I'm doing a lot of it and I'm thinking about it a lot, and I feel like it's really easy for me to teach that. It just comes out so naturally. I'd never fumble words with that.
Yeah,
it's like it feels easy. And the same with you with the body, like you just love it, and it's like, I mean, I love it too, but I really struggle to get the words out sometimes. Whereas you, it just kind of just flows so you can tell it flows so naturally. I think,
and that probably is what you said. It's probably the more you do it, the better you get. Because I, like in the sense of like you've done that inner work, meditate, every book for fucking ever, man. And I think about Dad with the body with me was sort of forever in the sense of like he was just always, some sense I didn't have it all, but it was like it was always in the vocabulary between me and my dad my whole life of something to do with thinking
it's
about
true,
the body.
It's true. Maybe I'm making an excuse. Maybe that's just a belief that I have inside myself that's just stupid.
Yeah, and
you're
so much better.
Yeah,
than when you first did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I can speak on a lot, and it's like, you know what I mean. Like
well, that one you did the other day, man. That I messaged you. I was like, oh, that was like very. It was like you were just speaking it like because you just finished that whole course, so you just knew so much about it at the time.
It's so true.
It's come out very naturally.
Yeah, for sure. And that's it has been great, you know, watching you and learning from you as well, and helping each other, because like that's what makes me passionate about it and learning. And now I just feel like we've both helped each other so much in the way of like, feeding off each other. You couldn't do it alone.
Nah,
I was thinking like, there's no way. I mean, you would have been amazing in the body no matter what, but
I wouldn't have corrective culture.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because
exactly.
it's all our connections and network that's really built it.
Yeah, I was thinking this yesterday. I was like, it's sick how even we went on the Grin Reapers podcast together early on, and I was like, fuck, that's cool. Like my connection with Whitey, and then now it's brung like health to his following, and we've had people messages from that, and it's
from
cool.
bodyboarding crew that fuck, I've had like people from prison message me, man, not that I went in time with, but people that had done time, and they were like they sort of said like, oh, it's good inspo, that you can go to prison and your life's still fine.
And it's funny you bring that up too, because I thought that yesterday as well. I was like, I don't think I've ever really stopped and appreciated how cool it is that you went to prison, and like I was thinking about Spanion, and I was thinking, well, Callan went to prison too. Yeah. I'm like, that is a crazy story.
Man, it's
like,
so crazy.
Like, it's just kind of think, like for me, I just never really thought about it in that depth. And I was like, that's fucking nuts that we're here and you're doing so good with this shit. That's like a lot of people don't do that.
It's the story.
Yeah.
It's the story. It's the cool. That's what's the uniqueness about the story. Yeah. And it's honestly like a dream to me, in the sense of like, that feels like a dream.
Yeah.
It's like almost feels like it didn't happen or something. Like it's so weird. But then I look back on it and I think about, wow, my mindset at the time then was so different, and the people I was hanging around and, in there anyway. And just all that trippy like life of just hanging around these crims and that like, that dialogue and the vocabulary and everything. And now it's a whole different life of health and anatomy and people think you're a genius when you talk about this shit, but it's not. You just talk about what you care about. And if you ask me something else, I'm a fucking idiot. Like certain things. So it is a weird thing, but there's other people like that have done similar things in their own ways. It's just rare. Like Wes guy, what's his name? Wes remember that prison dude from the States? And he's like multi-millionaire.
Oh
now.
yeah.
He did like 10 years or some
he's
shit.
Sick.
Man. And he goes, I knew I was going to get out and just make heaps. I knew I was going to fucking kill it because no one else was as disciplined as me.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But so we had what we were talking about anyway. We had some questions. This was just a random party. We're like, let's just sit down and do them for the end of the year. And we had people writing some questions, which we want to do more of these now. And we just had a few here. So let's go. Question number 1. What would be the best time for a colonic during the cleanse? It's got to be at the start of week 2 and the end of week 2.
Start. Yeah.
Yeah, so we suggest 2 ideally. So start of week 2 to clean yourself out, and then the end of week 2, because you're having the extracts, that's all the binding and the clays and the charcoals. And for some people, especially females for some reason,
it can clog you up.
They clog you up. Rare, but it's still, out of thousands of people, there's going to be a couple of people that do it. And because constipation is one of the biggest symptoms of any parasite cleanse, because your body goes in this like freak out, all of a sudden it's detoxing all this shit, and parasites die, it all just freezes up. So the charcoal binds it, so your liver doesn't have to absorb all that, but in some sense it can stay in your gut if you're not getting out, so you cannot be constipated. So we had a girl, someone wrote in recently, she goes, like, she felt fucked. She was on like week 2 and she went and got a colonic, and then it all would just come out, all the charcoal and parasites, like all these worms and shit come out. And she goes, I just felt fucking as soon as I left, felt brand new. So I think using that, I know it's unnatural shoving something up your ass, right? Yeah. Well, not for everyone. but
I kind of liked it. Dude, I had one start of week 2 and end of week 2.
Nice.
And it made a heap of difference. And it was like at this Tony Robbins, she used to work for Tony Robbins, so she's really good at it. And she had these like angel machines, and you like sit on it and like put lube on this little thing, and then you just slide it up your little butt, and you just like
it was fine.
It was fine. Like yeah, I mean, it's fucking pretty out there, and it felt like I was actually scared for a sec because it came all the way up.
Weird feeling.
Yeah, colon and onto my transverse colon. It got all the way over across, and then I was like, oh fuck! Like I feel like I'm going to explode. And she's like, now you need a push. And I pushed, and it felt like you're just doing the best, like
it all comes
life.
out. It feels weird, and she's in the room, and she's like loving it. But I didn't have it was sort of nothing too gnarly come out, so
neither.
But I could see if you're someone that had some constipation issues, definitely recommend that. So I'm going to do it in the cleanse just for I can help it out. Okay, do you see links between neurodivergence and hypermobility? So we didn't really know what neurodivergence was. I just googled it then, and really, I think it's just a name of thinking differently. So I don't know if it's even a thing, you know.
What was the question again?
Do you see links between neurodivergence and hyper? I think she meant hypomobility. So I guess she's thinking of a neural link between hypermobility. I want to talk about hypermobility actually, because a lot of people talk about hypermobility like it's this big fucking syndrome or something that you just like disease. Hypermobility is a very natural thing. You're a hypermobile person, and it's always generally females because your connective tissue has to be somewhat more lax for birthing process. But everyone's collagen and fibers are different. I'm definitely not hypermobile, and it's just a little test that you do with fingers and joints to see how.
There's a Rockabato test you can do.
Yeah. So what you guys, if you're listening right now, you want to see what your score is. It's generally hypermobility people, or is it like 7 or more, or maybe it's 9?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
yeah, it's 9. 9's the highest.
Yeah. So you get your pinky and you take it, you bend it back and see if you can bend back to 90 degrees. You score 1 point for that, and you score 1 point for the other pinky. Then you get your thumb, and you actually flex your whole wrist down, and you try and take your thumb to your wrist and see if you can touch your wrist. So I'm nowhere near that. All right. So you score a point for each thumb. So if you score, that's 4 points in total. Then you get your elbows and you lock them out, and you see if they sort of extend through like a banana almost. Well, your right one extends, dude. See that?
You reckon?
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, no, my left one's even worse. Like,
whoa. Okay. Yeah. They score a point each. So you see mine don't? Yeah.
Yep.
So there's no problem. Yes or no to that. It's just
that'd be a point each elbow.
That'd be a point each elbow. And then you do the same thing to your knees. You lock your knees out. So the people with banana knees, with the knees bend backwards.
Mine definitely don't do that.
And then the last point, so that's 8 points. The last point is you lock your legs out and see if you put two palms flat on the ground. So that gives you a really good indication of where your connective tissue is out. Not out, but at.
Yeah.
So the people that are hypermobile, they get all these like fucking, I don't know, hypermobile specialists and shit. I don't really believe in that, to be honest.
No.
Like it's this big problem because they get pain, but they think about it. They're only getting pain because we're living in the Western world and they're sort of moving non-optimally. So those people, and the thing is, they always do things that they're good at. They're going to be good at yoga. They're going to be good at stretching, but it's the worst thing they should be doing, right? They got to be doing strength work. Those hypermobile people got to be doing good isometric body weight stuff to start with, and then eventually you can start loading if they get stable. But they need to be doing strength work. They don't really need to be doing too much stretching at all.
Yeah, and vice versa for someone who's tight like me. Like I really benefit from stretching, deep tissue work.
Yeah,
it's like
same. I'm tight as fuck.
Yeah,
I have to do tissue work, I got to do stretching. And again, if we were like doing primal movements all the time in the wild, you're probably getting your stretching through movement. But fuck, I'm just sitting down. Or even right now, we're sitting for an extra long period of time.
I know, and it's crazy. Matt was talking in IMS4 about like how naturally our body knows what to stretch. Like if you sleep on your tummy with your arm above your head, you're getting a pec minor and a pec stretch. And he's like, your body pretty much stretches all night without you knowing it.
Yeah, yeah.
And he goes, if you lay on your side and you have one leg straight, you're doing like a spinal rotation stretching all your QLO and your small spinal muscles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that cool?
Yeah, your body will just move forward.
It just knows.
So hypermobility, strength work, don't be doing stretching. And like say if someone is just beginning, foam rolling may even be a little bit, loosen them up too much. So you may have to like pair foam rolling and if they need it and stability work together. So definitely just don't think it's some big crazy thing because it's not, right? It's not.
You just need to tighten up.
Yeah, tighten up. Yeah. So here's one. Okay, love to hear your thoughts on being too hyper aware with health after Jake's dad's passing. So too hyper aware.
I take that as like a when my mum died, I remember I was like maybe a little bit too stressed about diet and things like that because I was using fear as the main motivator. Whereas like that's a very bad place to be because what we know is like what you focus on expands. So you don't want to be like using fear to be your motivator for health. Although I did that, I had to do a lot of inner work on getting it there. So I guess hyper aware. Yeah. What?
Yeah, love to hear your thoughts on being too hyper aware with health.
Too hyper aware. Okay, too stressed about it. Basically, hey, like it's taking. It must be stressing them to a point where it's like it's not healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's sort of what you were talking about with the Michael Singer.
Yeah.
Did we say that on the camera? I think we did.
No, we didn't. I don't think.
Didn't we?
No, I think it was before the potty.
Yeah. Well, what like in relationship with basically what you said that the thought doesn't assist you. What did you say again? Fuck. What?
Yeah, I was saying that you can literally like nothing. Yeah, no thought should really be able to like infect your internal environment and cause you to change.
Yeah, actually, no. But what you're saying is anything that triggers you, or that's right, any negative thing in your life you've been writing down. Like, why is that?
Oh yeah,
thought trigger me, which is some sense of this, like, if this guy's feeling fear about that, it's like, it's always a step as awareness.
I'll read you a quick one, just the first one. I've written a few here. Okay. Like today I was swimming and I noticed my girlfriend had the dog lead and she let it go. I hated that because of the sand and water. I didn't want water going in my car and the dog lead was wet and there was sand all over it. And I was like, this is a dumb fucking thing to worry about. I saw that trigger and decided to just watch my thoughts. That in itself is getting to the root cause of the problem, where usually I would be unconscious and I would let that affect my mood. Whereas I saw it and I was like, okay, that's a dumb thing. That just be aware of it. I didn't even say it's a dumb thing. Just be aware of that. And I was instantly set free and I felt a lot of inner joy.
Yeah, and you wonder how that thing might have carried through into your energy into later on, and you're just driving in the car and someone does something and you're like, and then it changes your reality.
I think becoming conscious of things like that is where the real inner work lies, because I have a lot of things like that where I'll just be like, I might, like, lately I've been waking up in the morning and I'm reminding myself to do mantra, because I've just been noticing that my mind just goes off on a fucking tangent. Like, it's just like for the first 10 minutes I'm just like, all right, let's go get a coffee. Who's going to be there? What should we do this? Oh, that's right, I got to film this today. And I find my thing like starting to get wound up, and then I go, hang on, no, just do mantra for 10 minutes. Just, stop. And I just use, I've been reading Ram Dass's book, so I've just been using like this Ram. So I just say Ram because when your mind focuses on one thing, it can't go off on a tangent. And I find it makes me so much calmer. And what Michael A. Singer says is like, find the river of joy that's deep inside yourself and drown in there, pretty much. And you can do that through mantra, or you can do that through, seeing the dog leash in the sand and going, I'm aware that is something that would trigger me. So you're getting to the root cause of that. And I think the more you can do that, the more you can become more conscious and be happier.
It's like Alan Watts says, I can't remember how he says it, but it's like, you're laying in bed on a Monday morning, you're sitting there thinking about all the shit you got to do, and you're pissed off. You're like, fuck, I don't want to go to work. I'm doing this. And he goes, whereas really you're just laying in bed.
yeah, dude, exactly. That's perfect. Yeah. That's perfect. Yeah. So this guy said hypervigilant. I'm thinking like, don't let health become so stressful for you that it's something that is, because it's supposed to be enjoyable. Like, you're never going to get, we're talking about in the sauna, you're never going to get that good of a body that you're like, I'm done now. You know what I mean? You shouldn't even be worrying about your body. You should be just going, okay, I'm healthy. When you eat good, you look good, you feel good. Like, don't worry about the end goal. Enjoy the journey and the process of making good food and loving yourself. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's so fun when you cook a good meal and you think, how good can I eat this thing?
Yeah.
I did it the other day. I cooked, what did I cook? It's like salad and maybe patties, and I put like cheese on the patties with avo, and it was just nice.
That did look nice.
I love like rocket and lemon and stuff. And then I sat down, I went to go on my phone to play chess while I was eating, and I was like, oh, hang on, no, let's just stop, put it down, and I just like think, how well can I eat this and taste it,
Yep.
And it was just an enjoyable thing.
Fuck yeah.
And you can do that anywhere.
Did it with coffee. I've been doing it with coffee lately because I'm only having 2 a week.
Yeah.
I've been getting the coffee and I say a little prayer to the coffee. Sounds weird, but then every sip I'm like really feeling what it feels like to enter my body. Man, it's different.
Yeah,
it's so good. It's
like if you eat on shrooms or something.
Yeah,
it's sort of like that.
Tea meditation, or
it's like you can really focus in on the present of everything.
Yeah,
I actually like, say if I smoke weed, sometimes it makes me feel a little anxious. More so right when I jump in the car, like I'm leaving my friends, I've just had a smoke, and I jump in the car and I'll feel anxious about something. I don't know what it is. It's like, oh, I just wasted time. I shouldn't have done that. I should have done this. And that's the main, I think, thing attached to that. And of like not doing enough, which will always feel like that. You always feel like I could do more, of your potential. And same thing. Now my sort of technique, I think about Michael Singer actually lately, and because you've just been mentioning him again, and I laugh at the stupid thought. I laugh at why, again, the thought that doesn't serve me. So I laugh at it, almost like literally in my car, smile a bit, and then continue on.
Yeah.
And that really helps. And I think the cool thing for people listening is you can be intuitively guided for everything. And what I do when I'm in the car is I ask my intuition, what do I feel like listening to? So sometimes I feel like learning. Sometimes I feel really sharp, and I'm like, I feel like I don't want to listen to music. I don't want to listen to something, I want to learn about the fucking shoulder. I'll just type in something and just listen to someone's take on whatever, and you take little bits of it. But sometimes you jump in the car and you feel a little bit like wound up, And that's when I'm like, all right, yesterday I found Wound Up, and I put on Michael Singer, and just a minute in, his voice, him laughing at like, what, you're taking that so serious? You're on a spinning ball. You're going to be dead in 50 years. Like, we're all dead soon.
I love that.
And I laugh and I feel good. So what you're feeling in that time in the car when you're by yourself, you can listen to something inner work when you're feeling a little stressed, or when you feel like you got some energy, then learn something, and then you feel good from learning something. Or sometimes I don't feel like either. I'm like, I just want to listen to music. And between those three, it's a nice little cycle, and I think that's just a nice little thing for people to listen to.
Yeah, I think I can really relate to that. Like with filming lately, I've been feeling like a little bit like, oh, I should go in and film clips and stuff like that. And I've been kind of just pulled back a little bit, and I'm like, you know, what is that? And like, it's because I'm a competitive person and I want to keep up, or I want to, you know, finish stuff. But then I was like, you know what? None of that matters. And I know Michael Singer's helped me a lot with that, because it's like, at the end of the day, it's about listening to your intuition and your inner guidance to create. And I think that when you surrender to it, then the real beauty comes out. And I honestly can say that in the last 2 weeks, I've had my creative energy back. Like, I haven't wanted to do anything creative, because we've just been working so hard on the business and constantly thinking about it and stuff like that. But lately, I don't know what it is, man. I honestly believe it's doing the inner work that's allowing more space. So now I can actually have more energy to create. So now I'm actually excited again to create content, you know what I mean? Or to study more or do this. But yeah, it's like you said, that you need to listen to that inner guidance. Like, if you want to listen to Michael Singer because you feel like you want to be deep that time, or if you want to learn about the shoulder or the spine or whatever that is, you're constantly getting guided. And that's the realest shit ever right there, eh?
Yeah, it's just listening. Yeah, because I was reading that book last night, and I realized, man, I got about 30 minutes of this in me, and then my brain's like, all right, you're done with this shit.
Same.
And you just can't even, and I love it. And I can imagine someone didn't love it. Yeah. Imagine someone like, some person is like, oh, I'm going to do physio when I get out of school, have no passion for it, have to learn anatomy. I was like, that would be such a hard learning with that passion.
Yeah. But dad said that to me too, man. He's like, fuck, so you just read that and you enjoy it?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I actually just fucking love it. Like, and I was like, I learned a lot from that, because I was like, fuck, that's where he's at. You know what I mean? That's not what he's here for.
Yeah, exactly.
He wants something different. Like, and yeah, so it's like your own inner guidance. Like, what is that for you? Like, for your listeners out there, like, think about what that inner guidance is and what's really calling you.
Yeah, and a lot of the time you're already doing it, you don't realize.
Yeah,
you're already like
drawing art, or
it could be drawing art, could be like, again, like I said, when I started this shit, I was already learning it all without even thinking about it as a job. Didn't even cross my mind. It's like, hey, this is a job, not this guy. You know, I can't go to uni and shit, but I was still learning it all, and that's how obvious it was.
Did
it's
it
like,
to better yourself at the start, hey?
Yeah,
that's how it all starts.
Yeah, it's like Rani, like my sister, how she's like, you know, she made that slideshow for us this morning.
Yeah.
She loves that shit. She loves that.
How good was that?
Organization and preparation of like, all right, you guys can do this and this and marketing and just loves it. And it comes out. She did it for herself. I was like, she doesn't even know how good she is. Well, I think she does, but I don't know, like, doesn't even know how good she is at that. And that's, everyone has their thing.
That's like you can tell, it just lights her soul up.
Yeah, lights her soul up,
2024.
Yeah, so do shit that lights your soul up. All right. What's the best body position for reading books? Just being like comfortable, I guess. That's a hard one, eh? What's the best body position for reading books? I guess if you're laying in bed or not, right? Everything that keeps you somewhat neutral, closer to neutral. Okay, just for anything, right, guys listening. Neutral position means optimal position of joints. So it means less stress on parts of the joints. So if we look at sitting and driving in a car, if your tail is tucked under, say same thing reading a book, sitting reading a book. If your tail is tucked under excessively, well, that's going to be putting more stress on the front of the vertebral bodies and pushing the disc out the back. From a stress perspective, doesn't mean it's going to hurt it, but it means that's where the stress is. If you're in hyperextension, the stress is at the back of the vertebral body and the facets. So basically the back of the back edge of the spine. So that's more stress on that. So when we talk about neutral position, when you're sitting, it's about being neutral. So if you're all kyphotic and you're all down in the chest, well, there's going to be more stress on all the little ligaments in the spine at the back, right? And there's going to be more compressive stress at the front. So anything that's in a neutral position where the thorax is stacked, where your rib cage is nice and neutral, your head is in nice and neutral, otherwise that's non-optimal, right? And saying that, you need to have somewhat strength stability to hold that position so it doesn't hang off ligaments and connective tissue. Because if you don't have postural endurance, hence why we talk about postural endurance exercise all the time, long isometric endurance type shit, then your body will naturally make you hang off shit to hang off ligaments because they're passive structures, so they don't cause any contraction to do that. But as we know, during time, over years of that hanging, it gets weaker, and then you get little istises or injuries or movement.
Yeah.
So
I think like Walden again said something pretty cool. Like your resting postures, like if you're reading and you're sitting down, like sit on the floor with your legs crossed, and then sit there for like 2 to 5 minutes is probably the stage before it gets a little bit uncomfortable. Then move onto your knees and sit on your, like with your knees bent. So in like proper knee flexion, sit on your heels, and then you can go onto your stomach. Then you can go onto like a 90-90 hip stretch and read. Like just those postures are actually built to be slightly uncomfortable because you're actually moving the hips and getting these natural stretches in. And they're called archetypal resting postures if you want to look more into it. You can sit with your legs straight and your toes up, but just, read with and move through it. Like it's like a yoga, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
But your body will tell you when to move.
Yeah, your body tells you.
But again, for the people without the postural endurance, it'll tell you to move quicker.
Yeah,
Okay?
exactly.
So that's
Exactly.
basically it, right? Thoughts on medical medium? So you know medical medium?
Yeah,
that guy?
I don't love him. I
Yeah.
don't like him at all, actually.
Yeah, no, yeah, neither. Well, yeah, it's just like
Not him as a person. He's probably a legend, but whatever.
yeah, he just doesn't look really healthy to me.
Yeah.
And what he says doesn't make sense in a lot of evolution.
Yeah.
And that's what I think about, right? So
Yeah.
he's pretty well vegan pushing a little
Yeah,
bit
he's
without going
vegan
too hard
pushing.
on it.
He's also saying like eat that many calories, the
The
juice.
celery juice, yeah. It's extremes.
It's just extremes.
So it's almost like what? You can't get healthy unless celery grows near you, and you got to have 10 fucking of them a day or some shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm just not a huge believer in these things that basically you can't heal without this. You can't heal without that. And I just don't think certain vegetables are going to be the thing that's going to get you across the line when you know it's fucking everything. It's like saying nutrient deficiencies, right? We're in the world of blood work and nutrient deficiencies. And you still use that, right? And you can use it short term to see what's going on and start being curious about, okay, that. But it's so unquantifiable in the sense of we don't know if someone's mother dying takes fucking more zinc out of them or magnesium out of them from that stress response.
I 100% agree with this.
You know, we don't know if like if me running too far in one run compared to this day and that day takes more vitamin B out than this person next to me. So everything's so different, and hence why when we go to this isolated approach of this for that, you're low on these vitamins, so you take this, then it's just like you're chasing circles.
Take these synthetic vitamins, like, and I'm glad I've gone through that and seen all that and seen how I felt, and a few things work, like the good things like magnesium and B12 and vitamin B and stuff made me feel a little bit better. But for the most part, I felt I get a lot of my nutrients from just whole foods and juicing and things like that. And I think that's the way, 100% is the way to go. I think that our body's full of trillions of cells, and I think that you can't just isolate things. We're going into the isolation approach again, and I just don't think that's the way.
Remember Paul used to test his bloods too? He'd get bloods taken on the same thing and send it to 2 different places, and they'd come back with different results and shit on the same day.
True.
So it's so ever changing.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't know that.
And maybe it's probably gotten more accurate now, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, it's your foundations. But it's cool because it gives you like, all right, I'm low in zinc. Fuck, what's my diet been like? You know what? I haven't had any oysters, haven't had any, like, you can use it like that, right?
Yeah.
But just be in touch with your body more so and how you feel, because you can take shit and it make no fucking difference at all.
Exactly.
Right?
Get our app and type in how you feel after every meal for 2 to 4 weeks, and then you'll come up with some good shit.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. This chick on the app recently was she had, what did she have? She had broccoli, and she goes, oh well, I bloated hard, had gas from not broccoli, it was sprouts, right? And then I was like, oh okay, well that's cruciferous. So now I commented under a thing. So it's cool in the app. I get to communicate one-on-one. It's actually us talking to him. I said, oh, now, okay, well, broccoli's sprouts are cruciferous. So now take note of the next time you have cruciferous. And then she had cauliflower and the same thing happened. Yeah. And she's like, fuck, this has been happening forever.
Sick. Yeah.
And that hell excited me because yes, this is what it was all about. Like,
100%.
This isn't her going to do gut microbiome testing. This is her figuring out, oh, that shit hurts my gut. Let's have a break off it, at least for a while, and see a year from now can I handle it,
It's so good, eh?
So it's hard work, right? And that's why Paul, after knowing all this shit, at the back of how to eat, move, and be healthy, there's a food intolerance journal in the sense of just groups of foods that generally, okay, well, if you react to this, you may react to all these ones too. Yeah. So just be aware of that.
Yeah.
And then you get to figure out your own shit, right? So that's pretty cool. Like I said, I figured out after years that raw milk, and not even little, only if I have too much of it, I've sussed out, if I've had about 300 mils, I get it. If I have about 200 mils, I don't, because I can handle it. I'll get nasally off raw milk. So even the healthy raw Cleopatra's one, I'll get nasally from it. So I know, that's a mucus thing. Okay. Mucus is generally there for inflammation. Now you get that mucus all through your intestinal lining, and then that's why when they do the cleanse, they get fucking mucus ropes and shit come out of them. It's why when we do it, we never have that. A lot of people don't have that mucus come out of them, but those people that do, they always have some issues going on.
Yeah.
How did you guys originally start taking out coaching clients, PT, massage, in-home work? So I've said this on the potty before probably, but we'll go into it. Basically, to start taking clients, I was in Bali with Jake for his 30th, and we were sitting down at the Organic Cafe. I remember that one in Canggu there. I forget what it was called.
Beta,
yeah. And he goes, just start doing it, dude. Like, because you were doing...
I had done 4 clients. That's it. Before then. That's it.
As in for your work, you were doing video at the time.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
And I was scaffolding at the time, so that was our main thing. And then, so basically I went back, moved into a friend's house. I go, can I use your garage? It was a full bender garage too. There was like beer up the walls and shit. Like it was fucking rank, okay. Shows you it's not about the venue, it's about, yourself.
Yeah.
And then I just took on, Jake's ex-girlfriend was actually my first client. And then she paid me, and I was like, "Whoa, this is weird." I just got paid for my dream for the first time, and it lit me up. And then word of mouth spread real quick, and I ended up getting there was close to 10 clients in like the first couple of weeks. And that was just from word of mouth, because I was so into it. I was with those people. I went over the hours all the time, and I was so into it. And for the person listening that asked that question, I took a day off. No, I worked Saturday actually at the start, but then with my boss, I intervened to take a day off work, do a day of clients. So I didn't have the big financial burden of jumping into quitting and then starting a new career, right? So I just had a day off and did that. And then it just took off. And eventually once I had 10 clients, I was like, oh, well, this is enough for me to live on. That's, I was charging $90 an hour at the time. There's $900 a week coming in. That's enough.
And it was sick to see too, because I even though I was telling him to do that, I had jumped into the deep end with filming and became pretty successful at that. But really, I kind of deep down, taking clients scared me too much. So I didn't do it. I was like, oh, no, I can't do that. But then I saw you got 10 clients in the first 2 weeks or something, and I was like, well, fuck, like, I'll still do filming and I'll take 4 clients.
Yeah.
And then I got 4 within like a few days, and then it just snowballed as well. And I remember at one stage, me and you had just fucking so many clients. It was crazy. And also I took my first client out of the garage. His name was Sheedy, remember? And he came around to Rimmer's garage.
Dude, I remember that. And so that was because Jake used my garage. We weren't living together at the time, because we eventually moved into another garage, but he used my garage to do that because I had all the shit there already.
Yeah.
And
it just took off, eh? It just went nuts from there. And each client was a bit more confidence. And we got more confident. Me and Callan were helping each other. And it's just fucking, I mean, like you said earlier, like having 2 people is really helpful, because like, especially someone who believes in you, like you were always like, no, you can do it. And I was always helping you in ways of other ways. But it was cool. I feel like having good people around you that believe in you is somewhat just so powerful.
Yeah. So for like people listening, like if you want to start your own thing, if there's a mate doing it with you, then it just halves the rent, halves the expenses, halves everything. So it just makes it doable. Okay. Yeah. Try that. So again, and Instagram, guys, like that was all our fucking, all my work came from Instagram. Everything. I'll just constantly post shit on there and stories. And I was naturally doing that for about 2 years before I took on clients, about just health in general, and then the body, and doing it all to myself. And then I didn't know I was doing it as a job, and then eventually I did. So I sort of had people already like looking a little bit at the stuff. And then when we, again, the first post in Corrective Culture was Feb 2020. It's just at the end of 2023 now, and now it's like it's a fucking crazy life, So now there's like people it's like we can travel the world and everyone's listening. Like it shows you how quick you can do it, if you're really passionate about it and not just regurgitating other people's stuff. Learn something, but then speak it in your own way. When you really understand it, like talk about it. Talk about shit you actually care about. Don't talk about shit you think people are just going to like. You know, talk about shit you care about, and then everyone that cares about that shit will listen to you. So the universe does that for you a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
and it has been scary. Like for me, it's been scary in ways. I remember posting my first thing on the body, and being so worried about what people are going to think. I actually felt sick. Like I wanted to take it down, and I was like, and even I still get it. Like 3 years down the track, I posted in one of the podcasts crying my eyes out about my dad dying, and I was like on the podcast, and I was like, fuck, I'm so embarrassed. Like I was feeling vulnerable and embarrassed, and I was like, no, you know what, fuck what anyone thinks. And that just gets, you just get like, you level up every time. You're like, every time you do that and you dive into the deep end and not worry about what people think, or you get the shit comments and you go, oh, it's not so bad, you get better and better. And that's what it's all about. And it's such a fucking liberating feeling.
Yeah,
not giving a fuck what people think. Hey,
that's what we should do. We should do DMs of shit comments, or like or talk on shit comments.
Yeah,
this is one the other day. I think Harry sent it to me. It was I did one on the multifidus causing back pain.
Yeah,
well, because it's not turning on, and then a physio actually goes, muscles don't just turn on and off, so they think it doesn't turn off, and that's when you're like, oh, okay, serious? This person's out of clinical experience, because you can touch it and see it doesn't. Like you can touch it, see it. Oh, it's not turning on when they're doing that. And then you cue it and then it turns on. So again, head in the evidence. But it's crazy though, because there's so much studies about the evidence of that. It's very clear about
spinal nerves.
And like a lot of physios would say, no, that's a thing. Like,
yeah.
Hence Diane Lee, one of the best physios in the world, is like her whole things is turning on the multifidus. But it's like a disconnection from clinical experience to studies. And another one I wanted to talk about is, this is such a big one that you see all the influencers talking about. It's that dosage makes the poison, right? And that you can have, this chemical's in sugar drinks. You know what else is in that? Banana, and 4 times the amount. But banana is a natural thing that comes with other things that are symbiotic to be processed that by itself. It's not just this isolated thing in a can. The whole process is different in the body and unquantifiable for a lot of it. And these people that talk about the dosage makes the poison of whatever, Spartane or this, and you can have this much, well, they forget that this person is having about 100 of these little dosages in different ways every day from different chemicals that all add up to big problems. Yeah. So it's just common sense, and that's why I look forward, honestly, to debating in my future. I look forward to like having someone challenge me on stage or something, because how Paul's answer was to you when you said that, man, it's like, how can you debate when I'm common sense?
It's just common sense.
You can start saying all these evidence and stats and shit, but it's like, what? You're going to tell me that there's a dosage that's safe of my sprayed fucking veggies that these guys are wearing hazmat suits spraying on. You're going to tell me there's a dosage that's safe on it and not realizing that this person's having makeup, alcohol, shitty sleep, this fucking plastic, microplastics, chlorine. Yeah.
Well, all of it. Nothing. Yeah, I know. Like nothing really surprises me after COVID. Like you think about how dumb COVID was. But even with the fluoride, the sulfuric fluoride in our water, calcium fluoride is what goes on our teeth. Sulfuric fluoride is a mining chemical runoff, which is absolute poison. And it's in our water, and there's only trace amounts of it because that you can't put it. They couldn't put it in the ocean, so they put it in our water because we can apparently cope with a little bit of it. So you just think about how dumb that is, and that's legit. That's fully legit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, how is that possible? And how can you debate that? How can, where's the common sense in that? Oh no, it's all right because there's a little bit of poison in your water. It won't affect you. It's like, but it does. It's people aren't looking at the accumulative effects of things, like accumulative effects of having the phone next to your ball sack for 20 years. For 20 years, EMF just blasting your balls. It's probably not going to do much over one night, but over the time it does. Having tap water for 25 years makes a big difference, And then, like you said, everything adds up. The glyphosate in your veggies, everything. And
you'll never get you'll never get in a quantifiable way. There's no way that I know of that they'll be able to quantify that. Plus, there's so many variables in life.
I know.
And it just becomes idiotic.
Yeah, it does.
And again, I always say it's like you unplug out of the matrix. It's like, oh fuck, I'm in control of everything. Like it's got to start with that food and the water.
It's such a good feeling, and I just it's hard to even like that's why I never reply to anyone on Instagram or anything like that, because it's like, why would you?
Yeah. Remember that I think someone said about your why you eat organic video you did ages ago, and then you based like the answer. What you said, somatic. He goes, listen. He's like, you can either eat food sprayed with vegetables and sprayed with chemicals and all this shit, or you cannot. You know, like you're either eating that or you're not eating that. Like,
and then he said he
said something probably dosage makes the poison or something about.
He actually said something about glyphosate and Roundup not being the same thing, and I was like, well, they are. They're just a different kind of form. Like I think Roundup and glyphosate. Sorry. Yeah. And I was just like, glyphosate isn't Roundup. But
and then you look at like Dr. Pran talks about. You can bring out the studies if you want. I know it's like,
what's
choose
the
these
point,
studies
though?
and choose it. Yeah, I know. What's the point?
What's the point? It's just like like you said,
I don't need to know that it's healthy or not, because it's not natural.
It's not natural. Like 50 years ago was when it was introduced. Oh, sorry, actually about 80 years ago now. Glyphosate and pesticides and herbicides were introduced, and then our health has rapidly declined. Before that, there wasn't such thing really as organic. It was just it was what it was, and we were growing our food. And
you look at just look at the body, the person's body and eyes and skin. And that's when you can get a representation of if you want to listen to what they're telling you. Because you can still listen, but just take everything through a grain of salt. But if someone looks really healthy and like, fuck, they look vibrant, what are they doing? Then you can take note and you can try a bit of that stuff and you can not try a bit of that stuff. But the body never lies. It's not the six pack, because you can easily get that shit. It's the skin, it's the eyes, and it's everyone has off days. Everyone, you have a drink, you look like shit next day. But if they're looking like that every single day, you're like, all right, well, this person, something's off in what they're doing. That they're saying this, but the universe is telling them this, and are they going to listen? Are they going to not? So it's as simple as that, really.
Yeah.
I think that was.
That's
you got a little Michael Singer thing you want to finish?
Yeah, we'll finish the podcast on what we've been listening to lately.
Just a little inner guide. I don't know what he's about to play now.
Yeah,
so.
I actually don't know either. I'm just going to play. I'm just going to play something. This one. Actually, this was cool. This last thing of it's changing your active energies.
Sick.
And the last bit I remember, letting go of reactive energies on the Michael A. Singer podcast. If you guys want to have a listen.
The reason people don't see that is because what is happening is God's will, interaction.
This is good.
What is meant to happen will happen. And you just experiment for what it would be like to let this take place. So the working at the root is to sit within the consciousness and let the dance of life pass through you. And if you do this, what happens to you is phenomenal. The state of peace, of joy, of serenity, as well as the grace that happens all around you, because you're permitting God to do God's thing. We say, not my will, but thy will. I wonder who's willing to live that. The reason people don't see that is because what is happening is God's will. How hard is that to digest? What is happening is God's will. Whose else's will did you think it was? There is only God. All that there is in the universe is your consciousness, God, and what's left of you. And what's happening is God is happening, and you're reacting, and your consciousness is losing its center. When you let go of you, there's nothing but God and consciousness. And like I said, that's when the miracles take place. So this is your work. Spirituality is not so complicated. It doesn't take a million techniques. It doesn't take books upon books upon books. All it takes is the willingness to remain conscious and centered and to not go with the reactive energies when they come up inside of you. And if your mind is even asking, how do I know if these are the reactive energies? Then you don't want out yet. Because it is so obvious that these energies are jumping up inside of you and causing these actions that it's impossible for me to believe that you don't know what's happening. It's just that you don't want to let go of this one. And so you find reasons that this one's different. And then you say it's not reactive. I'm doing what I should be doing because the other person was wrong, and you go to this whole thing. But if you're sincere, you will get past this, and you will learn to let go of all of these things, and you'll attain to a very deep state.
That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah,
Nice.
he's so good.
So the way he speaks, so
yeah. Well, I think just before that, he was saying, like, basically doing when the universe throws everything at you, you have a choice to make, and that choice is usually, do I react or do I not react? And that's the inner work. That's going to the root cause. So no matter what, and that just feels so good, because life is always going to throw you, like my dad died, or, you know, fucks. It's not always going to be wee. Sometimes it's going to be like, oh, fuck, this sucks. And you decide how to act in that moment. But by being aware of how you're acting, that's what makes that's what the inner work is, and that's tapping into the consciousness, that deep inner self that is full of joy, love, and destiny. So,
well, that's you talking about something you know about there.
yeah,
Fuck.
well, I
Isn't he
fucking love it.
poetic?
Yeah, I'm so poetic. I wish I had bigger words.
You're so spiritual.
I'm no.
That was good. That was good. That was good. See, I just like to listen to those types because, like, I just like to absorb it. One that we'll play next time, or another time, that I love that he said is life. He goes, if you just do the best. This is a Michael Singer thing. So take this actually as your 2024 motto. Okay, and I'm going to take this as my 2024 motto because fuck, it's helped me. Okay, you just do the best you possibly can in every single situation and not care what happens. Doesn't that sound so freeing?
Fucking oath.
It sounds so freeing. No matter what happens, relationships, fucking money. We invested 50 grand into this, didn't work out. Tried our best. Oh well, let's not wallow in it, because why does that thought not work? Like, if it doesn't serve you, you move the fuck on. So that's it, and it makes me feel good. So again, just to really get this in your head, do the best you possibly can in every single situation, and don't care what happens. And that's all you can do. Right?
That's I feel like I really got to say, and tell the truth.
Yeah,
I think the truth is the fucking most powerful thing in the world in every aspect of that. So tell the truth to yourself firstly, and then to others. Yeah, that would be my 2024 goal, is to be more truthful in every single way.
And what's that again? The thing you said ages ago, it was like when the faith flickers. What was that statement again?
Oh yeah, when someone's faith is flickering, you can be sure that they're questioning their own truth. Right. Basically.
So when they're trying to like sell their story,
like it's like someone, it's like most people who are preaching to the Bible who don't understand actually what the Bible actually is. They'll be really fanatical about it and be like, "Oh, my life's so good," but you can kind of feel a non-authenticity there. It's like, yeah, but you look a little stressed or tired or something like that. You know what I mean? You're feeling, and that's usually, and they're trying to hit you with the Bible or hit you with whatever it is. But you can feel that their faith is flickering. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, you don't even believe what you're preaching. Why would I believe it?
I guess that's like when you look at physios and shit that come at us, or similar, like they hate what we're doing so much that they have to tell us of why their thing's better. And it's like, are you just
that's a perfect example.
Unsure that you don't know what I'm doing, so it makes you scared of what you've learnt,
Yeah.
And this cool thing is, Hayden, one of my old clients, just come in, did a workout with him before. He's an old client. Now he's got into check. Now he's got work. He's in gold. He's starting a new career path. It's cool. I've watched him change his whole fucking life, man. His whole body changed too. He was like anterior tilt winging. Now he looks solid and strong. He goes, man, I feel fucking bulletproof. Right?
So sick.
But he's learned other stuff. And I'm like, show me everything. I was like, you lead the workout. Show me this stuff. Show me that stretch. Show me all these little details. And you just can learn off anyone. And there was zero like feeling of like, what's some percent, how like sometimes someone knows more than you, and then when you're around, they just try and teach you. And you've been learning shit. Now, I'll do this. Like, you do it like that? I'll do it like this. I was just like dropped into this student. I was like, show me what you learned. And I saw a sick stretch. I'm like, sweet, I see the need for that in certain situations, so I'll use that.
I think that's what life's about, is obviously knowing your shit, but also just being open to being the student at all times. Because I've even learnt stuff off people that I'm just like, I don't like.
Yeah.
and don't even appreciate what they're doing. But then I'm like, oh, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, that
would
one
work,
thing's cool.
you know.
Yeah.
You can learn stuff off everyone and anything.
Yeah.
I think that's like what Michael Singer's saying is like life. Let go, let God.
Yeah. All right. Merry 2023.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and a happy Easter for 2024.
24. And let's crush the dreams and go hard and like and subscribe.
Yeah, that's right. Like and subscribe, whatever all the things are.
Yeah.
Just all the things. Do it all. And thanks for the support. The more you do that, the cooler guests we can get on, and it really just motivates us.
And thank you for another good year, brother.
Yeah, cheers,
Let's
brother.
keep it going.
Yeah. All right. See you.